Incoming transmission. Download complete.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the broadcast show after tournament report. Today we have with us Caleb Reddick. Caleb, thank you for coming on to the show.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely, man. This is your first time on here, I do believe. Uh,
Yes.
you came in fifth place today, just shy of fourth placing in the top four. But that's 5 out of 12 people, so it's still pretty good. So, Caleb, can you go over your build with me? The main force, the sideline, objects, and your maps.
Yeah. So my team is a Spider Family celebrity with a Fantastic Four swap mechanic. The main force to start the game is Sicarian Iron Man, Miles Morales, or sorry, Miles West, Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic are my two. They're each 40 point. The 001 and 002 from Fantastic Four, I believe it's the that Invisible Woman that swaps.
Yeah.
And then I have two Flashes, Commissioner, Mary Jane, Marvella, and the Cloak of Levitation. And then the maps I used, one of them was illegal. But the two legal maps that I have on the build are Manhattan Bridge and Negative Zone. Third map is pending. And then my sideline, I have the Destroyer Prime. I have one Scroll Spy, and then my Fantastic Four options are Franklin Richards, Valeria Doom, Valeria Richards, the Dad Thing, Mr. Fantastic, the super rare at low point, and the Torch Barrier, and then Meek, little 10-point Meek. Only because to bring in Franklin, there's no other 15. There's 15-point options, but Meek, I don't know. I had that one, so I picked that one.
You like that one better?
So that is that.
All right. So interesting to note about the illegal map on your build. It's understandable that you would put it on there just because the way that WizKids rolled everything out, kind of has done things. Well, that's how they actually do most things. When it comes to the win, is that they don't make any announcements, just notifications. So nobody knew really what maps were legal, what was not legal. Up until a week ago, no rock maps were legal, and then some were added. And then what was the other map that was that's not legal anymore? It's Ultron's no, it's I think Fam's Lab and Realm of Death. Yeah,
In Realm of Death.
yeah. Which I mean, to be fair, those two maps have issues of their own, so it's understandable why they took them off. But yeah, Ultron's Pym or Hank Pym's Lab was is one of those maps that kind of slid by a lot of people. So it's understandable that you missed it. Well, why did you? I've seen teams similar to this, I think. Why did you want to play this team?
So I've started with Disney Plus. The figures that I really enjoyed the most were the Prime Carter and then Sicarian and Iron Man. And I've made a soldier team with Carter, and it was okay, but Sicarian was my go-to. So every team I build with now is going to have Sicarian, and so he goes really well with Celebrity, which is Spider-Man. Initially, I was using the Spider Hammerai, 60 points Hammerai,
Hmm.
with the map bonus and the shield for the 80 points that are now the Fantastic Four. But I really wanted to start playing on Negative Zone, and I had no way to deal with barriers. So Mr. Fantastic brings that option.
Hmm.
So I then had to change my build around, and I ended up having. I got rid of one Marvella, took away the pig, and then added these two, the Invisible Woman and Mister Fantastic, the swap, and then I can now have an option to go to Negative Zone, which the the Mr. Fantastic Super Rare, his rally trait is also very handy when he can make someone immobile. I did that a couple times, and it is very, very good.
Oh, so you're able to remember to actually do it? The
Yeah.
dice? I have a lot of trouble remembering the dice for that, the dice for Destroyer, and I just listened to the last episode of Clickstuff where they were talking about the Spider-Man family universe trait, where you can place a character. That one I'm also horrible with.
Yep, that I have never done yet. Except in practice, I did it one time just because I remembered. But in actual game, I've never done it.
Because you have two characters on here? No, just one. Miles Morales West that can actually do it.
Right, yeah.
Is this team finalized for you? Is this still a rough draft team, or is this a excuse me? Is this a rough draft team or a final draft team?
This is pretty close to a final team just because I've been tinkering with Spider Family Sicarian, and I really like the options. I think it's got a lot of. It has range. It has close. It has. I can steal objects with it. I really like the options of the sideline. The only thing I'm going to be changing is the map, obviously, and then deciding if I want to use a Skrull Spy or have a Mary Jane secret identity, because this one does not have a secret identity for her.
Okay. You sound so much better now.
Oh, I was on the highway.
I gotcha. In case you listeners don't know, I am talking to Caleb on his way to work right now, so this is the best time to get a hold of him, just because I have a horrible work and sleep schedule. But so, Caleb, the the team that you played with, have you found any matchups that you don't like or that you do like a lot or hate a lot?
All the teams I've done the worst against is the PJ's team with the scientist team using that Wizard Prime. He comes over, and that was with the Spider Hammerai, and he came over and just about one shot Spider Hammerai through my team because that guy just turned. So with that, after that game is when I added the Aunt Petunia's map bonus, because if I lose map, he's a +9 theme. I'm also a +9 theme, so it comes down to whoever rolls higher. And if you lose map, then it just kind of limits the amount of outwits that he can do.
Yeah, he has to get a lot closer,
Yeah, but
which is good for you.
and so I haven't played it against the Thanos yet. I was hoping to play one last night in the Cash Bash, but I
He's fallen a little bit out of favor in the last couple of weeks, ever since the errata. Right now, I think it's just Dan, and on occasion you might get Jay Solomon or maybe Adam Friedman that would do it. But as of right now, I don't think people are gonna have to worry about Thanos too much anymore. Thanos is still really good, but with all Thanos was over the top with all the things combined. When you consider Realm of Death, the alchemical fire, the improved targeting with the cost of action, and then all the available support and however you wanted to play him, he just was really, really, really good. And now that they've taken away Realm of Death, they've really neutered Alchemical Fire, which is still kind of okay. I mean, it's still okay. And then with Thanos himself, only able to do the improved targeting with mind control, it's just, I think you might not see Thanos until Worlds, until people are getting used to how he plays now, or figure out how to play him now.
Yeah, I think he'll be a Nats too. But you've heard Scott talk on his podcast that you are risking getting low points on your wins, and that could knock you out of your qualifier.
Yeah, the most Thanos matches that I've seen that was not the Spider Pharaoh team, the Spider Thanos team, are low scoring games. Like they average about 100 to maybe about 175. That they don't ever really do full wipes unless you are really, really experienced with how other people play and how you're supposed to be able to. Because in the more competitive, higher echelon matches, there's all these little small things that come along with all these different teams. Like any team that you're going to play at nationals or worlds that you're going to play against has a really good chance of wiping out half of your team and almost all your main attackers out of one. So
Hmm.
everything has to be just right, it has to be positioned well. That like you need to get your rollouts, they need to not get their rollouts, and everything can go right, and just the smallest thing going wrong can just wreck your day. We kind of talked about team and the gained a little bit insight on the why and what your game plan was. Let's go into your matches. Round one. Do you recall who you played against and what they played, or would you like me to go over that for you?
So I wouldn't know like his entire team with sideline options, but I know I played Tony Bruno. He was doing a Fantastic Four swap team, and I don't know initial force. I know he had
Well,
the thing that generated the bystander with
uh,
that give.
sure. Uh, we've seen a lot of Fantastic Four teams, so we don't really need to know what all was there. Just what was the final result that he put on the map.
Okay, so he ended up with double lockjaw, two high evolutionaries, Valeria Von Doom, Franklin Richards, the dad thing, Human Torch that does the barrier, dad things, two pogs obviously. Alicia Graham, that was the little pog.
That was the
I
bear
think,
thing that comes with the pod, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's it. That's all he swapped
Okay.
into.
So, tell me about the match. Like, break it down for me. How it started, and how it ended.
Okay, yeah, so he's a +8, I'm a +9. Had +100 for map roll. He beat me on map. I can't. Oh, he went to Panther Field House. That's what he took me to.
Good map.
So his turn one, he moves up. I don't know, 6, 7 squares up across the map. He has the emotional modifier. He equips that to dad thing, I believe. Then I do my setup. I equip the cloak on Sakari and Iron Man. I throw up a barrier so that way he has a harder time coming across and hit me with Franklin. He doesn't really have much of a reach to do flurry. It would have to be like a hypersonic to get me from where he was. So then his turn, he comes over to my side of the map. Um, takes a little bit of time getting his placements and who he wants where and what he wants to do. Um, and so he's on my side, like in my start zone. So I pick charge or running shot, energy explosion, precision strike with Franklin. I pick hypersonic with Sakarian because I only have one object. So I hypersonic over to I was going to hit his Fire Lord, Human Torch to stop click. It was a 12 on 6, 12 on 17. I rolled a 4, probbed it, rolled into a 3. So Sakarian missed, and then Franklin went. He's got his emotional modifiers on -1 attack, so it was really a 11 on 17, needed a 6.
Mm.
So then Franklin goes, and he's only got an 11 attack, and I perplexed his to a 12, and then went back to an 11 because of the modifier. With one PD, he missed because he's got the Human Torch wasn't defended with the thing, but the Lockjaws were. So it's Franklin's a 10 on 19. So I try to hit him with him and miss, and then I go in with Flash to do some 2 hits on his Lockjaw with item, but Empower with a Marvella. And I missed the first one. I used 3 theme team probs to hit it and missed it. I know I hit twice. I don't know which ones I hit, but I didn't kill anything. I think I hit his Lockjaw once with my 5 attacks, and so then it was his turn, and his turn I think took like 10 minutes or 9 minutes with everything he was doing. He ended up getting. He took out one of my flashes. He took out Mary Jane. What else did he take out?
The
Uh,
final score for this was
it
100
was
to 10, 110 to 0. So,
110. So it's 15 plus a flash is 45. Oh, he took out my Franklin. Yeah, he came over with his Franklin and charged flurried my Franklin and killed him. So after his turn, then he passed, and then my turn started. I picked charged flurry with Iron Man, and then time was called. So, I got a whopping 2 turns, only 1 round for attacking, and scored 0 points for that game.
uh, you only had 2 turns, so he only had 3 turns. So if he went first, that's really long turns. I just did the math on that. Uh, if he took 9 minutes on that last turn, that leaves you with 37 minutes left because I knew how much time is supposed to be for each round.
Hmm.
So that left you with a little over 9 minutes each. Were your were your turns 9 minutes each?
No, I mean my first turn was set up in barrier.
And
That
that
takes
2 or 3 minutes.
right, and then my next turn with my attacks, maybe 6 minutes, maybe with. I mean, I had 5 attacks to do
Sure,
with probs and whatnot, and then after that, I didn't have anything else to do, and so I don't know, maybe total 10 minutes for both my turns.
10 minutes for both of your turns. So that's
And
so
not like, but like together, like both my turns would take 10 minutes together.
so if 10 minutes total, what was the turn? That means he had 36 minutes total. And if he did about 9 minutes left, that means the first 2 turns was about 25 minutes, 26 minutes. Uh,
It,
and
it might be less than that, but I know my turns. I only had two in my first round. My first turn took 2 or 3 minutes, so
well,
that plus second turn of attacks, and then everything else was on his turns.
well, I mean, not to break down the minutia too much and the nitty gritty, but uh, in competitive HeroClix, the setup turns are usually supposed to be around just a couple of minutes because you're setting up, and then your second turn is the turn, for you to make your attacks, to KO or cripple pieces, and do all things, and then it all just kind of going starts rolling downhill after that. Where turns are usually 4 to 6 or 7 minutes after that. Right, the average amount of turns that a player gets is about 5 to 6 minutes. Were you aware how that time was taking a long time, or were you just caught up in the game?
I mean, I was consciously thinking about it, but I wasn't too timing it or knowing specifically how much time was being taken. But
Yeah,
I did finally during his last turn, when he was using, I guess the turn that he killed my Franklin. I kind of chimed in. I'm like, hey, this is a time game. Like, you need to kind of hurry up because I haven't really done much. I had much time to do anything. And so then he finished his turn, and then that's when time was called. So I didn't say anything to him. I didn't call the judge. My mindset on calling judges is it takes time. You got to call the judge, then the judge gets an explanation of what's happening, and it just takes more time than necessary. So calling a judge, it is smart to have one there, but I think it ends up taking more time to do that.
sure. It's understandable that taking the time, you just rather dish it out yourself with the other player. Going forward, that's we all know that it's not okay, especially in a time game and a tournament with pricing, and it's even worse when you're going to bigger stages. Uh, that's what these tournaments are for, is for everybody to start working out their kinks and not just practicing the team, but being able to get into tournament mode. So uh, I'm glad you actually said something, so that way I can actually talk to the other player, to Tony, and see if we can help him get more expeditious with his tournaments. Real quick, I know you are on a time limit right here, so let's try to go into your second game. Do you recall who you played in your second and what they played?
Yeah. So round two was against Wes. I think Richardson or Robertson.
Yep,
Um,
Robertson.
Robertson. So he played a full point Vision Prime with Darcy, Hayward, Tyler Hayward,
Wanda Maximoff looks like
Wanda. Yeah, Wanda, the
19
Halloween
defense.
Wanda.
Yeah, with the super serum and the tesseract.
Yep, yep. And so I won map here. I think I took him to Hank's Pym Lab, but only because I needed a wide open map. So that's obviously the map I'll be changing. But I TK'd out Mary Jane, and with the Flash, and with his free movement and then her sidestep, she generates paparazzis. I ended up rolling a three or a six and getting three. Two of them I sent over by his objects, and they were both able to sidestep, pick him up, and then power action destroy him. So I blew up both of his objects on my first turn, and then my other one I used to equip Sakaar and Iron Man. So he moved up. He used his vision to one shot Marvell or Mary Jane, and then after that, I sent out Flash and took out. I attacked Hayward knowing that he had Mastermind, and he Masterminded to Vision, and so he took 2. And then on my other attack, I went over and took out. I think I tried to take out Darcy with Empower. I don't remember who my second attack was against. I think it was against Darcy. And then I went up and I outwitted his phasing on Vision, and because Vision is not protected outwit on everything but that one power, he didn't really get to do much with Vision. I don't think he may have moved him once after his first turn.
Yeah, what is his speed power so he could do anything?
Yeah. So he did a ranged attack. He did attack one of my figures with a range, and then I just slowly whittled him down, took out Wanda, and then Gordon Hayward, and then him at the very end.
Yeah, Vision is just so. It's rough playing him at 200. It's just not the right time for him at 200 points with everything that's going out. So round 3, do you recall who you played then and what they played?
Yeah, round 3 was Jay Patel. He was playing a Spider-Man family with Ruler, with Spider Pharaoh. He was playing Scarab, Sakaar and Iron Man. He had the lady that takes away senses with the secret identity.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. And then he had Mary Jane, 2 Marvellas, Magneto, Venom Magneto, and then items he had Radioactive Clay and the Cloak of Levitation. So I ended up beating him on map because he was a +9. I'm a +9. I rolled a 4 and he rolled a 3 on map roll, so I got really lucky. I took him to Hank's Pym lab, and I did the same trick. I sent out Mary Jane, and I ended up only getting 1 paparazzi, so I killed his clays to take away his mind control with Scarab. Then I didn't move out of my zone aside from the TK Flash and I think Mr. Fantastic, because I was trying to get up to, in case he barriers up, then I have enough to go over and erase them. And then his turn, he sets up, he Eclipsed the Cloak onto Sakaar and Iron Man, and he uses Mary Jane or Marvella to barrier only 1 time, and then I send over Mr. Fantastic, and I'm able to. I didn't have to remove the barrier because he didn't completely block his team off, and then I sent over Flash after outwitting Magneto's defense senses. So Flash was able to one-shot Magneto, and then he took out a Marvella. And so I'm, 35, 45, 50 points. And then if he, kills Flash, then he's only at 30. So I'm up on points at that. So I took away a lot of his mobility for Sicarian. Then his next turn, I think he uses Sicarian to shoot Flash. I don't remember who ended up killing Flash. And then he that's what he did. He mind controlled with Sicarian, mind controlled Flash, and then went with Flash to attack my Mr. Fantastic and got him to the last click, didn't kill him. And then he had somebody go and kill Flash after that. So then my next turn, I move up and I send my Sicarian to energy explode his team, and ended up doing 2 clicks to his Sicarian, and then I used Commissioner to do his power action to let Sicarian attack again, and hit his Gwen Stacy, who then he swapped over to her secret identity, so I got 0 points essentially from that. And then I killed his Mary Jane. He did the same thing. He switched out secret identity, so I got 0 points from that. Which, at that point, we got a good amount of turns, but it was tough because I couldn't get points because he kept secret identitying, and so losing Flash takes away a lot of my offense. So Sicarian was my big threat with Miles West. His turns, one of them, he brought in Destroyer. He didn't ever get to attack me with Destroyer, but I had to waste attacks to get him off the board with Miles West. So came down, all said and done, it came down to being it was 95 to 70.
That's a really tight, low-scoring game.
Yeah, very low scoring. So because I couldn't kill the secret identity figures, I didn't kill them and get the points for it.
All right. Well, thank you for going over your team and going over your matches. I'm thank you for coming onto the show, and thank you for coming to the tournament. I'll see you around, Caleb. And listeners, thank you for listening to the show. And if you would like to come to the tournaments, new players get to play for free. You can also just watch live on my Discord and on Roll20, or you could just listen to the show afterwards if I can, record with the people. Anyway, thanks for listening, and y'all have a good night. Say goodbye, Caleb.
Thanks for having me on, and yeah, we'll see you guys at the next tournament.
Cool. All right, done recording.